Have you heard of the Uchi app? Uchi is the Japanese word for in-group or inner circle, and Uchi is a free social platform. It is not a social media. That's because everything on Uchi is totally private, just for you and your Uchi friends. So Uchi is a very simple concept where you answer questions and read each other's answers, and that helps strengthen relationships. But there's a lot more going on with Uchi and a lot of different features around Uchi that are a little bit more difficult to explain. My name is Kevin Strauss, and I'm the founder and creator of the Uchi app, and I can try to explain all these different features and nuances about Uchi and Uchi tribes, which is the fee-based feature of Uchi. But what I did is, instead of me trying to explain it all to you, because sometimes I can be a little bit all over the place, what I did is I took a whole bunch of different material that I have created and I put it into Google's Notebook LM, the AI, to create a summary of what Uchi is all about. So that's what I want to share with you today in this video, is the AI summary of the Uchi app. And I'd love to hear what you think, and I hope you'll give it a try.
Okay, so have you ever felt like, social media is just noise?
Oh, yeah.
Just like tons of updates, and it doesn't feel real, like meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this app Uchi says it's trying to solve.
Okay.
And we have a lot to go through.
Yeah.
So we've got marketing materials, user guides, comparisons. We even got a transcript from one of their YouTube tutorial videos.
Wow.
All about Uchi.
Interesting.
And they say it's different,
Okay.
like focused on deeper conversations, smaller groups.
Okay.
Kind of like, back in the day, how we used to connect before everything went digital.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. What really stands out to me here is that Uchi, it's like they're flipping the script on how social media usually works.
Right.
Instead of chasing likes and followers,
Yeah.
it's all about connecting genuinely with people you actually care about.
I know. And they have this really interesting concept. It's called, it's Japanese Uchi,
Okay.
which means in-group.
In-group, okay.
Right. And that's what the whole app's about. It's about strengthening bonds within your, existing inner circle.
It's really interesting how they're moving away from this constant, pressure to expand your network, get all these online friends.
Right.
Uchi, it limits you to 50 friends.
Wait, 50?
Yeah.
That's less than my graduating class.
Right.
That seems like the opposite of everything else you see out there.
Yeah, it is. But there's a reason they're doing this.
Okay.
By focusing on a smaller group of people, it encourages more meaningful interactions. Think of it like this. You're at a dinner party with close friends versus a crowded concert.
Okay.
Those conversations you have, they're just different, right?
Right, yeah.
The quality changes.
So it's quality over quantity. But how does that work in the app?
Well, one of their core features is this question and answer thing they do.
Okay.
So the app has a database of questions organized by topic, and each topic has 10 questions you can answer.
Oh, so it's not just posting random updates and photos. It's a little more structured.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. Your answers,
Yeah.
they're only visible to your friends who also answered that same question.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not like broadcasting it to everybody.
Right.
It's more of a two-way street.
Exactly, like a conversation starter.
Yeah, that's really different from the one-way stuff we see everywhere else.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're really into privacy, right?
Yeah.
No profiles.
Nope.
No searching.
No searching.
To join somebody's Uchi, you need an email invitation.
You got it.
It's all about connecting with people you already know.
Yeah.
No algorithms.
No algorithms, no suggested friends.
Wow.
It's all about focusing on those people you know and trust.
So this is like a totally different thing. And then they have Yuki tribes.
Oh, yeah.
What are those?
So Yuki tribes are a separate thing, and it kind of takes these focused conversations to the next level. Think of them as dedicated spaces for group discussions around specific topics.
Like a book club or a support group?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You could have families coordinating schedules. You could have businesses brainstorming, classrooms discussing things, even podcast listeners connecting with each other.
So it's not just personal. It can be for anything.
Right. And the way it works is there's a leader for each tribe.
Okay.
And they come up with 10 discussion questions and invite up to 10 people to participate.
So each tribe is like its own little micro community.
Exactly.
with a shared purpose.
Yeah, and each Yuki tribe is independent, you know?
Oh, okay.
So the conversations you have, they're separate from your main Uchi
Got
feed.
it.
And they don't like bleed over into other tribes or anything.
And that's a good way to keep things organized and on topic, I guess.
That's the idea. And it really gets at like the heart of what makes Uchi unique, you know? It's not just like the features.
Okay.
It's the way the whole platform is built to make connection feel real.
So it's more about real human connection than just another app.
Right? It's about encouraging vulnerability, fostering empathy, and building stronger relationships.
This is really interesting. So how do they actually do that? What makes them different?
Well, for starters, their feed's chronological.
Okay.
No algorithms.
So no more like worrying about your post getting buried or if you're seeing everything.
Exactly. You see every answer and every comment in the order it was posted.
Just like what? Email chains?
Yeah, like old school forums. And then they have this rule: must contribute to consume.
Oh,
Basically, you have to participate before you can see what others have shared.
no more lurking.
Exactly. And you know what's cool? That it encourages everyone to participate and keep the conversation going.
I like that. So you got to put in the effort.
Right. It's more mindful. You're not just scrolling. You're actually contributing.
It's like saying, if you want to be a part of this, you got to actually participate.
Exactly. And that goes for their questions, too.
Yeah.
They put a lot of thought into creating these prompts that encourage people to share more deeply.
I saw they have a question creator guide.
Yeah.
What does that say?
Well, they really stress avoiding like controversial topics and focus on things that encourage, you know, vulnerability, reflection.
So like what kind of questions?
Things like describe a time when you felt truly understood, or share a story about a meaningful connection you've made, or even just what's one thing you're grateful for today.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really different. They're not just surface level.
Right. It's all about moving away from the shallow stuff and making a space where people feel safe to open up.
This is amazing. But why would somebody choose Uchi over something else? Like, what's the real benefit?
Well, they claim there are real benefits for the users, like their communication, their relationships, even their emotional health.
Oh, wow. Do you have anything to back that up?
Yeah, they cite studies that show that feeling heard and understood, is linked to better emotional well-being.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
When you feel like your voice matters, it affects how you feel about yourself.
Right. And that's what Uchi is trying to do, create that feeling.
Okay, so they're making big claims, but how does it stack up against, like, Facebook groups or email or even Slack?
Well, they have a comparison document.
Oh.
It addresses that directly.
So let's look at that. What are some of the main differences?
Well, one of the biggest is that they're really focused on intentional communication.
Okay.
Unlike Facebook groups or email chains, where things can get like sidetracked, Uchi keeps you on topic.
So it's less random chatter and more of a guided discussion.
Exactly.
Right.
And because the conversations are asynchronous, meaning people can participate on their own time, it takes the pressure off having to be online constantly.
That's great for busy people. I know I can't always be glued to my phone.
Yeah. They even have a testimonial from a business coach. Yeah. And she's really excited about how Uchi has helped her team work together better, even though they're all over the place, different time zones.
So it helps with teamwork and being productive.
Right. And it's so easy to use and integrate.
Yeah, okay.
So it's great for like schools and businesses. It fits into people's busy schedules. Well,
this is fascinating. We need to look into how Uchi's actually being used in the real world then, and really get into these benefits they're talking about.
It's pretty interesting to see how Uchi's being used already.
Yes.
Like I've seen it in education, government agencies, even family courts.
Wow, that's all over the place.
Right.
It seems like they're really going for like a wide audience.
Yeah.
What do you think's driving that? Is it just that it's new? Or is it something more than that?
I think it's because the platform's so versatile,
Oh.
It's not just another social media app. It's like a tool you can use anywhere, and people are starting to see that.
Right. It's not just for sharing memes or vacation pics.
Right.
It's about connecting better and improving communication no matter what you're doing.
Exactly. It's all about creating a space where people feel like they're being heard, understood.
Yeah.
Whether it's, students talking to their classmates or colleagues working on a project or even just families keeping in touch, that connection's really important.
I'm really curious about how they're using it in education.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like a classroom where students are actually encouraged to have real discussions,
Yeah.
share their thoughts, connect with each other and their teachers.
The potential is huge. They're like tapping into this need we all have, to belong, to feel validated. And that's especially important for young people still figuring themselves out.
And it's not just about feeling good, right?
Right.
They're saying this can actually lead to like better emotional health and behavior.
Yeah. And more research is backing that up.
Okay.
Studies are showing that when people feel heard, it can, boost their self-esteem, reduce anxiety, even help them do better in school.
Wow. So they're using technology to actually help us instead of just distract us.
Right. And remember that business coach from before?
Yeah.
She said that Uchi helped her team connect and work together better, even though they were all working remotely.
It seems like they've taken the best parts of how we used to communicate, like email and forums, and made it into this like streamlined thing.
Yeah.
That actually encourages good conversations.
Yeah. And they've gotten rid of all the distractions from those other platforms.
Right.
No endless notifications, no pressure to look perfect, no worrying about saying the wrong thing and having it, blow up online.
So they're going back to the basics of how humans connect, like real dialogue, building relationships based on being open and honest.
Right. And they've given us real examples of how it works,
Yeah.
Like those slides comparing Uchi to Facebook groups and emails, they really highlight how different Uchi is.
Yeah. That must contribute to consume rule. That's a big one.
Right.
Yeah, it can't just sit back and watch anymore.
Exactly. Everyone has to participate, share their thoughts. No more lurking.
And the fact that you have these like specific questions to answer, whether they're from Uchi or the tribe leader, it takes the pressure off trying to figure out what to talk about.
Exactly. It gives you a framework,
Yeah.
for having a meaningful conversation. And the way Uchi does it, like with the answers all separate based on each person's answer, it makes it easier to follow.
Right.
Like a bunch of mini conversations happening at the same time. It's organized, but not, too formal or anything.
Yeah. And they're really big on privacy.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Uchi really makes sure your data is protected.
Okay.
Your answers are only seen by who you want to see them.
That's super important nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about trust, building real connections.
Exactly. It's a safe space to be open and honest. You don't have to worry about judgment or your words being twisted.
It's like a digital safe space for being yourself.
Yeah. And you know what? They've also chosen to focus on just words. No pictures, videos, or audio.
Why is that?
Well, they think it encourages people to, think more about what they say, express themselves better than with, like, just an emoji or a quick voice message.
I can see how that would make for deeper conversations.
Mm-hmm.
You really understand each other better.
Exactly. And they have examples of this working in the real world, like that product development director.
Yeah.
He talked about how Uchi helped his team connect and work better, even though they'd never met before.
It's amazing how something so simple, like asking questions and sharing thoughts, can have such a big impact.
And it's not just stories either. They have research that shows that when people feel heard and understood, their emotional health and behavior actually improve.
It makes sense. When you feel connected to others, you're going to be happier, more involved, and more productive.
Exactly. And Uchi's tapping into that human need to connect and belong. Now, we talked about Yuki tribes a bit earlier.
Yeah.
I think we should dig a little deeper into those.
Yeah, okay. We talked about how flexible they are and what they could be used for, but what's it actually like to be in one?
So from what I've gathered, each tribe is like its own little world. You got a specific group of people, and the leader comes up with these specific questions.
And the conversations are pretty short, right?
Yeah, usually just 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah. It's about like really focused interaction for a set amount of time.
So it's not just a never-ending chat.
No.
It has a clear start and finish, which makes it feel less overwhelming.
Right. And once everyone's answered the questions and had their say, the tribe, kind of naturally ends. But the leader can easily start a new one with the same people or different people with new questions.
That's really adaptable. You can use it for all kinds of things.
Exactly. And it's not just about what you talk about.
Okay.
It's about sharing, engaging with each other, building that trust, and making those relationships stronger.
I can see how that would be really valuable today when so much of our communication feels like surface level, It's like a special place for nurturing those deeper connections.
They even talk about how it's different from Slack.
Oh, okay.
They're not trying to replace it or anything. It's more about adding to it.
Okay, so how is it different from Slack then? I mean, people use Slack for work all the time.
Well, they say that Slack is mostly about, getting work done.
Right.
Uchi's more about building those personal connections.
So they're bringing a human element into work.
Right.
Like a place where coworkers can connect beyond just projects and deadlines.
Exactly. It's about remembering that we're all people, we have feelings and need to connect.
And it's not just for work, right? They see Uchi tribes as something families, friends, clubs, anyone can use to get closer and have better conversations.
Absolutely. It's about bringing people together, creating a sense of community, and making sure everyone feels like they belong.
That's a really powerful idea. It gets at the heart of what makes us human. We need connection. And Uchi's making it easier to do that, even online.
And they make a strong case for why it matters. They talk about how research shows that strong relationships are actually super important for how we feel. It affects our physical and mental health, even how happy we are and how long we live.
So connection isn't a luxury. It's like a need.
Exactly. And Uchi is making it easier to cultivate, and they've really thought about making it easy to use.
Okay.
Their YouTube tutorial walks you through everything step by step.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can figure it out, even if you're not super techie.
That's great. It wouldn't work if only tech people could use it.
Exactly. They want to make Uchi for everyone because everyone needs these connections, these conversations.
What about the cost? Is it another one of those pricey subscription things?
Actually, their pricing is pretty reasonable, especially the basic Uchi Tribe option.
Okay.
It's affordable for individuals, small groups, even organizations on a budget.
So they're not just trying to make money.
It seems like they really believe in this idea of connection and want as many people as possible to have access to it.
And they're thinking big picture too, right?
Yeah.
Like Uchi being a whole movement,
Yeah.
a way to make the world more connected and empathetic.
Exactly. They say that when people feel closer, they're happier. And happier people make better choices and, contribute more to society.
That's a really nice idea. Connecting with each other can actually make the world a better place.
Right. And they're not just talking about it, they're actually trying to make it happen through this platform.
It's inspiring to see a company that cares so much about making a positive impact,
Yeah.
It's not just about selling something, it's about starting a movement, changing how we connect with each other.
And from what we've seen so far, it seems like they're off to a good start. Now, one thing I want to talk more about is the Uchi Question Creation Guide.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really important, right?
Yeah.
Good questions lead to good conversations.
Exactly. And this guide really gives you a look into how they think about it. They really care about making questions that get people thinking and talking.
So what are some of their main points?
Well, they really stress the importance of asking open-ended questions.
Okay.
Questions that don't have a right or wrong answer.
Got it.
It's not about, testing people or arguing. It's about letting them share their own views.
So what kind of questions do they suggest?
Things like, describe a time when.
Okay.
Or share a story about.
Okay.
Or what do you think or feel about?
So they're encouraging people to explore and be curious.
Right.
Not just trying to lead them to a specific answer.
Exactly. And they also say to avoid questions that are too controversial or that might make people feel defensive.
Right.
It's all about making people feel safe and comfortable to share.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's about being vulnerable and trusting each other, not starting arguments.
Exactly. And they want question creators to think about how they would answer the question themselves.
Okay.
Would it make them want to share openly? Would it lead to more questions and deeper exploration?
So it's all about creating questions that make people genuinely curious and want to connect.
Right. And they even give tips on how to phrase questions so you don't influence the answers.
Okay.
It's about making a neutral space where everyone's voice is valued.
It sounds like they really understand how communication works.
Yeah.
How to make people feel comfortable talking to each other.
And they're not afraid to talk about the challenges.
Oh, yeah?
They know asking personal questions can be tricky.
Right.
So they encourage being sensitive and aware of the group dynamic.
It's a balance, right?
Yeah.
Encouraging people to share, but also respecting their boundaries.
Exactly. And ultimately, they want Uchi to be a fun, safe place to share and connect.
It's a nice change from all the negativity you see on other social media.
Yeah.
Where it feels like everyone's just judging each other all the time.
Right. Before we wrap up our deep dive into Uchi, there's one last thing I want to bring up.
Okay.
It's this idea of the Uchi legacy.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
This is really where Uchi stands out. It's not just about conversations that disappear.
Yeah.
They want you to Own your data. Keep your Uchi experience.
So it's about more than just talking in the moment.
Right.
It's about keeping a record of those connections and conversations.
Exactly. They have a feature that lets you download all your answers and comments,
Okay.
Like a free PDF organized by topic and question.
It's like a scrapbook for your Uchi journey. You could
Yeah.
look back on how you've grown and the connections you've made. It shows how Uchi is thinking long term.
Yeah.
It's not just about quick connections.
Right.
It's about creating a lasting record of shared knowledge and understanding. It really is like a time capsule, huh?
Yeah.
Saving all that knowledge,
Yeah.
sharing those stories, pretty amazing.
It really shows you how much they believe in connection. How important it is to keep those stories alive.
Right, yeah.
Especially in a world that's so focused on what's, trendy.
Right.
Uchi's saying, hey, what lasts? What really matters?
It's so different from all those other platforms.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah.
about ads or selling your data. They're promoting something real.
So we've really dug into all this Uchi stuff. What do you think? What's the big takeaway for you?
I think Uchi could really change things. How we think about social media.
Yeah.
It's not just another app trying to get you hooked.
Right.
It feels different. It
Yeah.
feels like they're trying to build something better, something that actually brings us closer.
It's like they're pushing back against all the bad stuff, The negativity, the fakeness. Uchi's saying people want real connection, conversations that matter, a place to be themselves without being judged.
And they've built this whole platform around it.
Yeah.
Privacy, honesty, understanding, the big goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say if they can really do it on a large scale.
That's true. It makes you wonder, as they get bigger, can they keep this same feel? Can they avoid the trap of money and ads?
That's a good question. But from everything we've seen, it looks like they're on the right track. They've really put a lot of thought into their mission.
I think it all comes down to this. Are people ready for a new way to connect online?
Yeah.
Are we tired enough of all the noise, the negativity? Are we ready to put in the effort to build something real, even if it's online?
That's up to each person to decide. I'm definitely curious about Uchi. I'm tired of the same old social media stuff. I want those deeper conversations, the kind that leave you feeling good.
I get it. And that's what's exciting about all this, right? It's not just about the tech. It's about changing how we think about connecting with each other online.
So if you're feeling burnt out on social media or you want something more meaningful, go check out Uchi. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's a step towards something better.
Maybe it's a look at what the future could be, technology that actually brings us closer.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Uchi. See you next time.
So now you know a little bit more about Uchi and a lot of the nuances around the features and what it was created for, why it was created, and how you can use it to strengthen your relationships, strengthen your emotional health, improve your behaviors and the behaviors of the people that matter most to you, like your friends and family and students and colleagues at work and attendees at conferences and webinars and anything and all in between. So I hope you'll give Uchi a try. It's free to download on the Apple Store and Google Play. And in just a matter of a minute or two, you can be up and running and connecting with the people who matter most to you. So I hope you'll give it a try. And until next time, peace, love, and connect.